the Liberal Party is in strife here. And given we are going from such a low base, and this is going to be a horrible, but this is a disaster.
I think it's too early to say it's a disaster.
The Liberals, you reckon, will finish tonight going backwards. If that happens, though, that's a shocker, isn't it?
That's a disaster, yeah.
If you've been in a safe seat for 15 years and you haven't troubled the scorer, it's your obligation to get out and give someone a chance who might trouble the scorer, who might put some runs on the board. In marginal seats, I don't mind if no one's ever heard of. As long as they can hold that marginal seat, that's great. But if you're clogging up a safe seat for decades and you haven't become a national figure at a federal level or a treasurer, a leader, health minister, education minister at a state level, you should give your seat away and give it to somebody else.
So in that respect, I think, the Federal Party can take some heart from tonight.
Well, can it? Doesn't the Liberal Party have a brand problem in Victoria?
Yeah, I'm clutching at straws here, but...
Thanks for your honesty.
But,
The electorate has really changed. Now, you'll say, of course, the electorate gets older, people die or whatever, in the last 10 years.
Millennials now make up 36%, twice that proportion. At the same time, the boomers, who trend conservative, were 56% of the electorate 10 years ago. They are now 38% of the electorate. So
there needs to be a bit of a race if you're going to succeed as a political party for that millennial vote and, of course, for the female vote. And it looks like the Liberal Party is in a bit of strife when it comes to that at the moment.
Asset owners we're still holding, but we're becoming the party of landlords, not the party of renters.
The millennials have lived their life in what have been good times.
Yeah.
They have never encountered what people of your seniority have encountered.
17.5% interest rates.
They never have. So,
or a pandemic.
Well, they have gone through the pandemic.
Yeah.
They've been through it. But even with the pandemic, they've still lived through fairly good times, right? Low interest rates and everything else.
So
and that will change the views of millennials when their interest rates go up, when they can't afford the sort of lifestyle that they've currently had. So it's not until you hit a brick wall that you change your views. For the last few years, everything's been, apart from COVID, but everything, even with COVID.
You tend to do best in elections where you fight the election on your brand equities, your core brand equities. So what are Labor's two core brand equities? They're health and education. Our core brand equities are the economy and law and order. They're our two brand equities. So if all the debate is about global warming, we're never going to win an election on global warming. We're never going to win an election on health. Greg Hunt did a great job neutralising the environment when he was environment spokesman. I mean, you're not going to win an election on Labor's brand equities. That's their other equity, environment. So this is a lesson for the Liberal Party.
But you're right. It's not a shocking night for the coalition. It's a shocking night for the Liberal Party because the Nationals have done well. They picked up 3 seats. They pick up, I think, 1 or 2 more upper house seats. They get their party status back. The Greens could become a party as well. So it really is. They can't sort of sheet this home as a coalition problem. This is a national Liberals problem.
Yeah, the key here is Liberals, you just got to stop believing the Herald Sun. I'm sorry. The Herald Sun is not remotely representative of what's going on out there in this electorate, and that will be proved again tonight. Just like there were no Sudanese crime waves taking place 4 years ago, the CFMU weren't running the state, and red shirts was not the be-all and end-all of politics in Victoria. Herald Sun has been on a bunch of ludicrous issues for the last 4 weeks, and you've just got to stop drinking the Kool-Aid of it.
What a load of rubbish. It's one of the most widely read tabloids in the world.
Running ongoing stories about 2 steps, OK, is a joke.
Yeah.
There is nothing there.
No.
All the crazy, and there have been some crazy conspiracy theories being fuelled by idiot stories about 2 steps, OK? Inviting people to want to believe the crazy conspiracy stories. That's what's been going on.
Where had Andrews been the night before?
I have no idea. OK, I have no idea. No one has ever come forward and suggested anything.
Well, why hasn't he come forward?
You're at it again.
Why hasn't he come forward and explained what happened?
The car accident, a tragic...
No, he didn't.
A tragic incident.
Everyone knows what happened, Stephen.
Well, fill us in, Michael, because I don't.
Well, because the people...
I've asked lots of people.
The people who were there, people who were there with Andrews in the night before, are not refused to talk about what happened.
There's a whole group of Liberal Party voters, what I would call the old-fashioned small L Liberal voters, who just think that the party has moved too far to the right and that on things like climate change, they just haven't embraced that. Now,
it's sometimes put to me by various people that the Liberal Party in Victoria is actually more conservative than the Liberal Party in New South Wales, and yet the electorate in Victoria, this is why they keep getting punished, because the electorate is more to the left than in New South Wales. But we shall see.
it beats me, like the Liberal Party, you preference the Greens, so you get a whole lot more. All you've done is shifted the state to the left, right? You haven't shifted it to the right, you've shifted it to the left. If that's the objective, that's great, but that's not what I thought the Liberal Party was about.
The approach that the Liberal Party have taken, on one hand, preferencing the Greens, something Ted Baillieu refused to do a couple of elections ago, and then on the other hand, preferencing some pretty groups with some very extreme views to the far right.
We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that in the last election, you made the right decision to preference the Greens after Labor. On this decision, philosophically, I understand that because that's probably where the Liberal Party should be. But on this occasion, the result of this will be there's going to be many more Greens members in Parliament, and it'll be on the back of Liberal Party preferences that has done it.
Tim, what's your thinking on the preferencing of the Greens?
Well, of course I don't support it. You can't preference extremists. I mean, these people are anti-Israel, half of them are anti-Semitic. I mean, these people are vermin. These Greens, they're grubs. I can't stand them. They are a blight on our polity, and I don't want them in Parliament.
Albo's always had the best model for dealing with the Greens, full frontal attack. He's never had a serious contest from the Liberals in his seat. He's been at war for 20 years with the Greens. It's why, frankly, he has no time for them.
Well, I dare say if he and Tanya Plibersek retired, their seats would go to the Greens.
I think so too.
That'd be a real challenge for
Or a Teal, dare I say. I mean, seats like, Williamstown, and I'm just surprised that there weren't Teals there.
These Teal independents are not genuine independents. There's been a lot of controversy about the Teals at a federal level, particularly those in Victoria. Monique Ryan and Zoe Daniel are, leaning very much to the left.
I don't see the Teals as being to the left of the Labor Party. What are the Teals concerned about? Integrity, okay? Integrity commissions, etc.
Climate.
Well, come to that in a minute. That's a core Liberal Party brand
Teal
issue.
is an anti-Liberal vote. It is an anti-Liberal vote. It is a left-wing vote. There's absolutely no... You can't cut it any other way. You cannot cut it any other way. It is a protest vote for people that can't even hold their nose and vote Labor, so they vote the Labor. The Gucci Greens, right? That is what they are voting for in those seats. Well,
we often ask with Teals what you do when you're in the balance of power, who you back, who you support. Now the tough question is, what do you do when you're not? Because it can be a lonely place being an independent if you aren't in the balance of power.
Correct.
Absolutely. It looks like the Teals will not have much power at all in the lower house in Victoria, just as has occurred in the federal parliament. And I think that will also contribute to the loss of momentum of the Teals at the next election, at the next federal election.
I'm trying to make a broader point about party politics in Australia. We were talking about earlier the combined major party votes down to 70%. Now, on the Labor side of politics, much of the loss of first preference support has been to the Greens. If you look at these numbers, Labor and the Greens have got 48% between them. So the drop-off in that two-party preferred vote from the Labor side is easily explained. When the Liberal Party vote drops off, it just goes all over the place. What we're seeing in Australian politics is there's a disenchantment with the options of the major parties. But it's got nothing to coalesce to.
I would like to pick you up on one point, Jeff. You said that this would be an absolute referendum on Daniel Andrews. What do you make of the result and your previous comment?
It hasn't been.
I mean, does it? Did Daniel Andrews win the referendum on Daniel Andrews?
Totally.
No, hang on, don't overdo it.
You'd have to say the whole Liberal campaign was focused on Daniel Andrews and the Labor campaign was focused on Daniel Andrews. Yes. So the answer is yes.
Politicians are people, believe it or not. Most of them.
But I think there's a broader problem, which is that we're only as good as the membership that make up our party. And I think more people need to join political parties, whether it's the Labor Party, the Greens and my party. I think COVID made people more interested in politics. So I urge all Victorians, get out and join a party, including my party or any other. Our democracy is stronger if more people join political parties, and pre-selections will be better for it too.
You know, I think there needs to be a lot of soul searching in the party. We need to look at, you know, we'll no doubt do a review, another review. You know, we will, you know, protect the guilty, punish the innocent, and probably do what we always do.
Do you think anyone will actually take it serious this time, and there might be some actually proactive action? You know, we asked David earlier about quotas, and we talked about long-term solutions. But does something need to happen sooner?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Does it come down to MPs, the actual, I guess, the party room, the playing list? Do some people need to move on?
It's from branch members all the way to the executive of the party and the campaign professionals. You know, the branch members have to pick better candidates for a start. You know, too often they'll pick dud candidates and then they'll complain why we lost.
I have some other figures on Richard, and actually Polworth is looking different now with the